In the fairy tale of Cinderella, a young woman lives in hardship and obscurity until a magical transformation reveals her true self. With the help of a fairy godmother, she attends the ball, and for the first time she is seen, recognized, and given a new beginning. That moment of transformation, of visibility, dignity, and hope is what makes the story timeless. Why is this relevant today? Well, we'll leave that explanation to our guest, Dr. Maria Cardoso, Breast Cancer Research Program Director at the Champalimaud Foundation and Associate Professor at the Lisbon Faculty of Medicine. Welcome to OncoDaily, Dr. Cardoso, and thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for the interview.
Today, our topic is an extraordinary project that addresses a major question for patients with breast cancer that has been overlooked for many years. The project is called Cinderella, which is funded by the European Union and uses artificial intelligence to help patients better understand and anticipate treatment outcomes in breast cancer. So tell us, please, what is exactly Cinderella and why is it called so?
So Cinderella is a funny name, and it came out as the project uses artificial intelligence to predict the aesthetic results of breast cancer surgery. And the fairy tale is particularly meaningful for the project when Cinderella comes out in the open, okay? It's when she's transformed from the poor girl into the beautiful lady that conquers the prince. And this is around the Cinderella idea, is when woman gets really glad about the aesthetic results of surgery. That the sense of the name in this particular situation.
It is a very interesting and draws your attention immediately to it. So what tangible benefits can it bring to patients? Why is it a necessity?
I think it's to make the patient in the center of the question. So to allow the patient to understand how she will look after surgery before she does it. That will, of course, reduce anxiety, improves what we call shared decision-making, and lowers the risk of regret after surgery. And it also helps doctors to be more honest about the possible results of surgery because we don't have always good results. And this will make a leverage for the patient and also for the doctor.
And who will be able to use the tool? Patients, surgeons, oncologists, and at what stage of care process?
I think the most important person in the center of this are patients. But doctors can use it, and doctors, I think it's more than doctors, it's the healthcare practitioners, because nurses helps us a lot to give this interface to patients. So I would say surgeons, radiation oncologists, and nurses, and also we can use this tool at the multidisciplinary tumor board to understand, if we have doubts, how this will come out for the patient.
So the tool uses an AI system, as I understand. Can you walk us through how it works in practice and what kind of data it uses and what does it deliver back to patients and clinicians in form of a result?
Okay, so really we use AI, an advanced AI tool. As we know nowadays, AI only works if it has a background, okay? AI doesn't work in nothing. Okay, if we want to use Gen AI, we need to use data sets from text to images, etc. So we built along these 2 decades a very, very large data set of patients that have been operated for breast cancer. And with these images, we can construct a possible result to this particular woman using height, weight, body image, and a photograph. So the patient takes a photograph of the torso and we can match it with similar results from excellent to poor, because we need to show patients that we don't have only excellent results. And then we can adapt these results to this patient so she can anticipate their own results. And the AI will pick up the images that are closer to the patient, and then it will adapt the photo of the patient to the expected results.
So you ran a clinical trial for the project. What are the main outcomes being measured and what stage is the project currently in?
Okay, so yes, we finished recruitment. We recruit 1,000 patients, so 500 in the control arm. So being operated with the same standard approach as always, without any extra help. And we finished the recruitment, as I said before, at the middle of this year. We will need 1 year more to have the results. We only will be able to go out with the results at the end. The main result is if we are able, and if it is a positive result, if we are able to better match the expectation of patients before and after surgery. So if the patient is more satisfied with the image she has according to what she imagined before surgery. So it's really a match of expectation. Then we have a ton of secondary objectives, but this is the main aim. Can we help the patient to be more comfortable with the results of breast surgery? This is the question and the answer that we aim to attain.
This is a rigorous effort from training the AI to doing such a big clinical trial and later on analyzing the results. So what have been the biggest challenges in developing and coordinating such a large multicenter project across Europe?
Okay, so Europe is, in our language, something that unites us all. But Europe is a million of different countries, different person. And that's the main challenge. How you get in different clinics with different languages to help people understand. So the AI tool is inside an app that has a lot of information regarding literacy about breast cancer surgeries. So we needed to translate this to every language, even in Jew, because we have in Hebraic, because we had Israel entering the trial. And we needed also to get into the usual workflow of the clinics that is completely different from Italy to Portugal to Israel to Poland. So this was the main challenge, but we managed.
And how do you ensure that the project remains ethically responsible, something that might concern some people in terms of protecting patient privacy, avoiding bias, and maintaining trust?
Okay, so we are strictly abiding by the GDPR. So from the beginning, we maintain all the coverage of the images completely anonymized. We abide also for the FRARE principles. So we tend to have, and we are probably one of the most largest trials using AI that evaluate these principles according to the EU AI Act. So really try to do it. We have some things that need to be corrected, like our population is mainly from Europe, so we don't have every race inside. So we need to expand our population to get more women, but we try to do it. And I think in the majority, I would say like 85% of the EU AI Act is absolutely accomplished in our project.
And looking ahead, what is the future of the Cinderella Project? Do you envision it becoming a part of the routine clinical practice?
Yeah, even if it's the last thing I do in my life, it's going to be, because I think it's super important. You know that even now the trial is closed. I have patients that say, we come here because we wanted to be a part of the Cinderella. So it's going to be for everyone. We want to have a questionnaire that will go for all healthcare practitioners and then all patients that will ask their interest. So this can come day-to-day practice. We applied to another grant. I don't know if we get it or not. But if not, we have other solutions that will come up to get this to the patients.
Well, I'm sure this won't be the last thing that you do. We need you to do more things. And beyond breast cancer, do you see the approach being adapted to other areas of oncology or surgery?
I really see that mainly in areas related to breast cancer, like, for instance, BRCA patients that are doing prophylactic surgeries and even aesthetic surgeries. The main problem, as I told you before, and that's one of the reasons why we are unique, is AI only works if it has data. And the majority of colleagues around the world don't collect data. So don't have photographs except in their iPhones and don't have a systematic way of collecting photographs. And for the AI algorithm to work, it needs to have a basis. So yes, we can, but we need to start doing more and more collection of data around breasts before and after surgery.
And of course, the project is wonderful and a very important one. And I'm sure that our viewers would love to know the person behind it, or at least one of the people behind it. So if you don't mind, I will ask a few personal questions as well about your career.
Okay, so the reason I searched surgery is because I come from a family of doctors, my father and my mother, and my father was a surgeon. And I always wanted to do something with the hands, and this make me the way through surgery and then through breast surgery. But it's because I really think the power of surgery is not only in the hands, it's on the hands and the head behind the hands.
And what originally drew you to breast cancer specifically?
You know that when I started my career in Portugal, breast surgery was mainly mastectomy. That's all. And I went abroad, I learned about reconstruction, and I came with the idea that we needed to change how women were treated. Besides breast conservation, we needed also to have this opportunity to offer reconstruction to every woman. And that was why breast surgery, because I thought that it was a big gap in what we are doing in Portugal at that time.
For a surgeon, you have a very inspiring career for young surgeons, because you also have a rigorous past of research. So what your advice would be to young surgeons who maybe in different parts of the world are not so prone to be involved in research?
I think even if you are not so involved in research, because to be involved in research, you need data, money, and structure. I think at least, and nowadays we have this opportunity more and more, is to abide to the guidelines, do things correctly. If you cannot do it, please ask people that can do it and help you to do it. So I think it's to be honest with yourself and to be humble. That I learned also with my father. You are in a place where you need to serve patients and not the other way around. And never forget that even when you're famous and you start doing money, this is not a business. This is something that serves to get people to feel better. And this, I think, it's the main message. And you can do very good clinic even if you don't have the capacity to do research.
And looking back on your journey, what has been the most meaningful lesson you've learned as a doctor working so closely with women facing breast cancer?
Is to be humble. When you see a patient with a breast cancer that is dealing with family, father, son, daughter, husband, and everything falls apart, and sometimes very complicated situation, because nowadays breast cancer is amenable to cure in the majority of cases, but some cases aren't, and they are very complicated. And you see this woman struggling with this and always with a smile, you understand how small you are. And I think we are very small compared to all these women that fight breast cancer.
And in your career, what has been the most difficult decision you've had to make as a surgeon, and how did it shape you?
It was this idea to only do breast surgery. In many countries in Europe, and in my country, I would say 10, 20 years ago, doing only breast surgery was very daring, because all the career was shaped about surgery in a whole. You needed to do pancreatic surgery, esophageal surgery, digestive surgery, and breast surgery. And I said, I only want to do breast surgery. So when I do my exam to be a consultant, they said, you don't have a very large CV because you only have breast surgery. And I said, if you think this is going to shape my decision, it's not. If you're going to pass me, pass me. If not, I will do something else with my life, because what I want to do is breast surgery. So, and they passed me, and that was it.
And for my next question, you probably partially answered it, but who have been your biggest inspirations or mentors in medicine, and what lessons from them do you carry into your work today?
Okay, first of all, in the family, because all my teaching was with a surgeon that was also a researcher and a professor, so a full academic career that always taught this that I told you before. You live to serve the patient and not the other way around. And that's the main lesson. He never stopped my career, always pushed me and never give me things that didn't give to other residents. So I think he was fair, and I learned with them. The second one is Alberto Costa. Alberto Costa, for me, is a different surgeon. He's a surgeon too, but he always went behind surgery. How he can help people to think about career in different countries, in different places. And I think these two persons made my life different, and hoping to do best and better for patients and for students, fellows, etc.
What would your advice be? 3 books you would suggest to read?
I think if you want to know more about cancer and breast cancer, for cancer, I would say a classic that teaches you how the pathway through the discoveries in cancer was so difficult. It's called The Emperor of All Maladies by Siddhartha Mukherjee, that is a hematologist and oncologist, and is a classic, and you need to read it, even if it is once. And then for breast cancer, Bathsheba's Breast, that was written by James Olson, and is the story of breast cancer, how it became fashionable, how it was difficult, how it turned the lives of women, and it goes through examples of women that passed through breast cancer, and is super interesting. And then my favorite writer of all times is he was born in Rhodesia. He went to Edinburgh. It's called Alexander McCall Smith, and he writes very good satiristic novels. And there's one that piqued my attention. Then I read all his books. That was Portuguese irregular verbs, because verbs in Portuguese are very irregular. And it's a trilogy. It's many books by a German guy that is called Professor Don Moritz Maria von Egelfeld, and is very humoristic about academia, career, Portuguese, and it's very funny. And he has lots of books, and he's very funny.
Any books outside medicine?
This one? This is not medicine. This Alexander McCall Smith never wrote a book outside medicine. So he writes about people in general, people that live together, people that are from academia, but nothing about health. But he is funny, witted, is fantastic.
Thank you very much, Dr. Cardoso. Thank you for sharing your story, the story and science behind Cinderella. Your work highlights how innovation can bring empowerment to patients facing difficult choices. And we look forward to seeing how this project continues to grow and transform care. And when it makes into the guidelines, I will be happy to say that I had the pleasure to interview you before it did.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ellen. Thank you. Nice to see you. Have a nice day.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to OncoDaily on YouTube. Hit the bell icon to stay updated.